Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's going to be reviewing the Toyota Tundra with the factory TRD Lift, and this has 35s added to it. It shows you what you can do with this factory lift. It's really cool. Before we get in this video, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to the Carl Malone Toyota here in Draper for giving me some time with this Tundra. Link to their website in the description down below. Link to my car buying guide as well. Let's get into it. Under the hood, we have a twin-turbo 3.4-liter V6 that goes through a 10-speed. It puts out 389 horsepower and then 479 pound-feet of torque. Before we move forward with this review, I do want to mention if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. Now, this particular Tundra is a 1794 edition, finished in lunar rock. Really cool combination overall. So it's kind of like the fancy Western theme, but let's get into the exciting stuff. So we do have 35s on this Tundra, and it looks like those are 20-inch wheels in terms of the diameter. I'll double check in a little bit. But we do have the big thing, sorry about my shadow anyway, is the TRD suspension lift. This is a factory option. It's a 3-inch lift from the factory. And you can see that with this lift kit and the shocks and everything, you can easily fit 35s on the Tundra. No, I mean, we'll drive it and everything, but no rubbing or anything like that. And so this is a really good option to go for if you want a solid lift kit that's covered under the warranty, right? Unlike the aftermarket lift kits that aren't covered under the warranty. And then just a quick look if you guys want to see the interior on this particular 1794. Of course, got the brown trim here across the dash, 1794 right there on the wood trim. Really nice seats, as you can see. The steering wheel has some brown stitching on it. You got heated, cooled seats. It's a fully loaded Tundra. But here's a quick look at the window sticker. So, again, you can see we've got that TRD 3-inch lift kit. Base price on this, $76,346. The reason I say base price is it obviously has aftermarket tires and wheels. I think they've got a little, yeah, I got a little sticker here. So after all of that, $84,035, the total price. And let's quickly check these wheels down below. Yeah, they're 20s, just like I thought. So let's see how this thing performs. Well, let us set off in the factory lifted Tundra. I wanted to review one of these with some bigger tires because every single time I review, I just reviewed a Tacoma with this, the factory TRD Lift, and they just have the stock tires and wheels on it, which I understand. Toyota kind of says, hey, we'll give you the lift kit. You can pick out the tires and wheels that you want. Or, you know, if you just want to do bigger tires, right, and keep the stock wheels. But yeah, I'm interested to see how this actually performs with bigger tires versus driving around a truck with dinky little stock tires. And something to note, I just drove a couple Tacomas before this. One of them had a ready lift and one of them had a rough country. I understand Tacoma's a different truck, but I think it's still important for me to kind of compare the dampening and all of that with the lifts. Even, again, different truck, but I'll be able to see like, hey, does this feel like it's on stilts or not, and all that kind of stuff. What I will say is, man, this V6 can definitely move 35s a lot better than those Tacomas with their 4-cylinder turbo. Still got to get into this powertrain a little bit, but it's definitely more of a torque monster, that's for sure. Smooth though. I know people are going to argue with me on this point, but I think this drives better than the ready lift or the rough country. It feels like it has better travel. Like when I'm going over the bumps and everything, the truck's still kind of, the suspension's still moving, so it just feels more comfortable. It doesn't feel like I'm on stilts as much. What will really show me the quality is go over this bump here in just a little bit. I mean, so far this seems pretty dialed in, which I expected. Again, Toyota doesn't like to release stuff that's not sorted. Yeah, I mean, it's not like so much better that I'd be like, oh, don't do the rough country, don't do the ready lift. But it does feel pretty good. And the turning this is the big difference. With those Tacomas, I was having to fight the steering. There's no fight. Which I think a big part of the fact that there's no fight just comes down to how this is tuned. And I think Toyota expected people to put bigger tires with this lift. So yeah, the steering, it doesn't feel like it's messed up. Yeah, I think this is going to be the way to go if you're going to do a factory lift, or not factory lift. If you're going to lift your Tundra or Tacoma, I think this is the way to go. And you know, there is benefit to some of the aftermarket companies depending on what you do, but this just seems more dialed in. Comfort, the ride comfort's a little bit better. It seems like it still has decent travel. And I'm interested, I wonder if Toyota, so when you lift independent front suspension, a lot of times what happens is you no longer hit the bump stop. I wonder if Toyota adjusted things so that you do with this factory. I imagine. And that's the things that you have to consider with stuff like this, right? Versus an aftermarket company. Aftermarket company is just gonna, you know, sometimes puck lift and then springs and then sometimes shocks. Like you got to look at all the stuff that gets changed out. And it looks like with this Toyota factory lift, at minimum, springs and shocks. And I think that, you know, my assumption is Toyota probably also changed the where the bump stop is, so that you still hit the bump stop. Or who knows if it's relocation or what they did, but that's just my guess, not confirmed whatsoever. Let me know in the comments if I'm wrong on that. But either way, this drives a heck of a lot better than the aftermarket lifts that I've driven today. And it's covered under factory warranty. The wheels and tires aren't, but the lift is. So if I were to get one of these Tundras, then I would be, and I wanted a lift, I would be getting the factory lift. No questions asked. I wouldn't even, just because it's offered. If this wasn't offered as an option, then yeah, it's a different story. But because this is offered as an option, like, I just don't see why not. I don't see the point in spending just as much money on an aftermarket lift. I mean, let me know, again, let me know if I'm wrong. Why would you spend just as much money, if not more money, on an aftermarket lift when this seems to drive just as well, if not better, and is covered under all the factory stuff? So let me know your thoughts.